My fiancé made a weird comment about my late wife, and now I'm beginning to rethink if I should marry her or not. I'm a man in my middle 50s. I have two kids, a boy and a girl, and I'm currently in a relationship with a woman that I met 3 years ago. Before this, I had a wife that unfortunately passed due to cancer. We did everything we could so that we could save her, but man proposed, God disposed, but that woman was the absolute love of my life. So when she passed, it kind of like put a strain in my family. My children struggled for a while before they could come to terms that their mother, is dead. I, on the other hand, I tried to be strong for myself and my kids, and over time, we got our life back bit by bit. This took us almost a decade before, we were able to start living normal. Although once in a while my children remember their mother, but they try to move on with their life, and I try to be strong for my children. Now 3 years ago, I decided to go back into the dating scene because I feel I should just go back into the dating scene, at least mourning my wife for almost, that's my late wife, mourning my late wife for almost a decade is enough. Now I met this girl, for the sake of this story, let's call her Susan. Susan and I started dating through a dating app. Initially, Susan and I started as friends because I decided to take things slow. I didn't want to rush anything. But over time, we got to like each other, and I just got really, really comfortable with her. So I dated Susan for a year before I decided to introduce her to my kids. And when I did, my kids were cool with it. Susan and my kids flowed really well. So that was what gave me, a relief. So the relationship between me and Susan rather continued. I decided to take things to the next level. Then I proposed to Susan, and because she loved me, she said yes. I told my kids about it, and they were cool because it's Susan, right? They like her. Now I decided to take Susan out for a family dinner with myself, my children, my mom, my dad, and my late wife's brother. I don't know if I'm making sense. Now, before this whole dinner thing happened, sometimes when I'll be with Susan, Susan will ask me questions that I feel was irrelevant. She would make statements like, if your wife hasn't passed, would you have met me? If your wife was still alive, would you have dated me? If your wife was still alive, would you have considered me to be your fiancé? Would you have considered me to be your girlfriend? Each time Susan asks me this thing, I try not to give her answer that will, spoil her mood. I just tell her, don't think about this right now. The fact is that I am here with you, we are dating, and that's all that matters. Now, fast forward to the moment where I took myself, Susan, my kids, my mom, my dad, and my brother-in-law, that's my former brother-in-law, should I say my ex-brother-in-law, for the dinner. I just want everybody to feel, okay. So that was when I announced to my parents that I proposed to Susan, and, we're planning on getting married, of which my children was well aware before the dinner. Everybody wished us congratulations. We were happy, we're just sitting there having, food, wine, drinks. We're just drinking. Then my mother said something to me. She was like, she's happy that I'm finally back into the dating scene. She's happy that, after the passing of my ex-wife, I was able to put my life together and reconsidering marriage. She just said words of encouragement to me, making me understand that she's really happy for me. So when she finished saying this, we continued our dinner, we were saying something. Then Susan made a statement that till today left me surprised. She was like, she's happy that she has me all to herself because if my wife hadn't passed by now, our path wouldn't have crossed. So she's glad that my wife passed. Yeah, that's what she said. She was like, I'm so happy that she passed so that I can have you all to myself. So when Susan said this, everybody in the dining table, at the dinner table, was quiet. There was this awkward silence. And I was looking at her. My mother was looking at me. My father, everybody was just looking at her like, what kind of statement did you just make? So when she saw that everybody was looking at her, because she knew that she has fucked up, she just laughed and said, yeah, I didn't mean that. I'm just joking. Like, she just made it look as if that statement that she made, she said it out of joke. But the people at the dining table knew that she meant everything that she said. So out of anger, my daughter just looked at me, looked at Susan, just stormed off, from the dinner table. Then my son was still sitting down, but I could tell that he was trying so hard not to say something that would upset everybody more. So long story short, I told Susan that let us go. So I walked Susan to the car with myself, my son, of which my daughter was already inside the vehicle. So on our way home, that was one of the longest and weirdest quietest, if there's any word like that, drive I've ever had going back home. So when we got back home that day, Susan started apologizing that, oh, she didn't mean it, that she was just joking. And besides, she had too much to drink, so she didn't mean everything that she said, that she was just joking. Then I was asking her, like, why will you make such a statement like you are glad that my ex-wife passed? If not, you wouldn't have had me all to yourself. Then she was like, she's drunk and she didn't mean everything. She was just saying things, trying to justify her statement. And for the next 3 days, my daughter didn't speak to me. My daughter didn't speak to Susan, But I asked my son what he thinks about this thing. My son was like, he doesn't really care what I do with my life, but he wouldn't want me to, end up with a woman that would disrespect his mom. That was how my son put it. Ever since that day, I've been thinking everything if I should marry this lady. I've been thinking, for her to make such a statement, that means she's had such thoughts in her mind for so long. And it's just because she was under the influence of alcohol. That was why she said what she said. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I mean, you cannot make such joke with the dead. On top of that, she did not respect that my children were there. She did not respect that such a thing is going to affect my kids. I mean, this is the mother of my children. And my children really love their mom. Do you understand? So making such a statement now has put me off, puts me in a way that I'm beginning to see her differently. So now I'm confused. I don't know if I should continue with this wedding preparation. I don't know if I should take back my ring and break up with Susan. They will go our separate ways. In as much as I love her, but I don't like the fact that she cannot respect the mother of my children, regardless of she passing. I mean, that statement is just off. Imagine someone saying, I'm glad that she passed. If not, I wouldn't have had it to myself. So now I'm confused. I'm asking you guys, men, should I go ahead with the marriage? Should I go ahead to marry Susan and forgive her because she has been begging? My daughter has not spoken to me. My daughter is hell-bent on me not marrying her. She just told me to my face that I don't like her anymore. You can't marry her. She cannot respect my mom. I don't think I'm going to accept her as my stepmom. Now I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Should I marry Susan? Should I forgive her and give her the benefit of doubt? Or should I listen to my kids and protect their emotions? Please, I need your advice. This is not my story. I saw it on the internet and I decided to share. Men in the house, what do you think? If you find yourself in this situation, what will you do? Will you forgive Susan or will you break up with her on the grounds of she disrespected your late wife, the same woman that was the absolute love of your life, the same woman that is the mother of your 2 children? Will you forgive or will you go ahead and break up? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section on what you will do. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to keep your stories coming. To share a story with me, please send me a DM or please send me a message to the email in my bio, and I'll see you in my next story time.